yourself.
Do it yourself?
Do it yourself.
Well, duh, but I mean, how has it gotten your band to where it is right now?
It means just like literally like doing everything yourself. Like you don't have a record company.
Our EP, we wrapped in paper. We probably did like 1,000 of those.
We do all our own booking. We record like locally with friends, so that's semi-DIY.
Alright, so making stickers today, pretty simple. You can make it pretty much from household materials. All you need is glue and vinegar and whatever you're going to make your stickers out of. It's printed on just a regular sheet of paper right out of your printer. That works perfectly fine. I'm doing stickers for my band. And it saves money if you do them all like this, if you put as many on there as you can. Instead of just doing one individual sticker on each sheet of paper. Then all you gotta do is mix up your stuff. And to do that, I got some already mixed up. The ratio is 2 parts glue to 1 part vinegar. And so what that means is if you're making 3 cups of it, you put in 2 cups glue, 1 cup vinegar. And then you, once you got it mixed up, you're gonna want a little tray. I found this in the trash. I just pour some of the mixture into it. Alright, so you pour glue into whatever you're gonna mix it into. Then flip over your thing so it's on the back side, the side without the design on it. And then take a paintbrush. Just dab it in there. I like to put it on pretty thick. And then just go back and forth. I usually try and go one way with it. And then you do it twice. You're gonna do this twice after it dries. And you usually go the other way. So I go horizontal first, then vertical on the next coat. Like I said, you put it on pretty thick. You want it to stick really good. Once it's done, you can set it out to dry. I've actually made a clothes hanger type deal in my room, right up here. Right up here, you can kind of see it. I just hang them on there and let them dry until I can see that they're dry, and then I pull them back down, put the next coat on. Next, you're gonna want to take papers out from under the book so that you can put the tape on them. Hopefully they're halfway decent, halfway flat. Which mine are not. Flip it over so that you can see the side that the design is on. You take like Scotch clear tape, clear packing tape, and you're just gonna put lines of it across so that it like laminates it. This is also good if you have a credit card to flatten it with. It also sometimes helps to have someone helping you. Just do a strip and cut it. Do it again. Next line over. Cut it again. Another time over. There you have it. Essentially, your stickers are done. The next thing you need to do is cut them out. I have a little cutting board thing that I use to cut out the stickers. Scissors work just as well. This thing just works a little bit quicker. You can pick it up at any art store, anything like that. Cutting them out is pretty self-explanatory. Just line it up and cut it. Now, since these are do-it-yourself stickers, they are a little bit different to apply. You don't peel anything off. You just add water. Like I said, applying these is really easy. If you're doing it on something like this, it's a good idea to clean it first. This is just a bottle of water right here, and I'm just going to squirt it down. Then I have a rag here I'm just going to scrub it with, get all the dirt off. It's pretty cold here in Nebraska right now, so you can see they kind of already froze. Trying to scrub most of the ice off. Next thing, just want to put some water on this. Doesn't have to be a bunch. Swirl it around with your finger to activate the glue and stuff. Then the key thing is lots of pressure. Just put it on there. Sometimes helps to have this rag just rub off the extra moisture. That'll also help you stick it on there. Like I said, lots of pressure. They usually work pretty good. There you go. Homemade stickers. What's your name?
Megan Boyd.
And can you just tell us about zines? How
Yeah.
great they are.
Zines have been around for probably over 30 years, and they're just simply self-published magazines. It kind of started with the punk movement. People who wanted to promote either their political views or their band or whatever it was they're interested in. So basically all you do is get your plain white paper and put whatever you want on it, whether it's poetry or pictures or text or whatever it is, and then go to a Kinko's or whatever and run a bunch of copies, staple them together, and boom, you got a zine. It's very, very simple. And then to distribute them, there are zine distributors that you can get in touch with. You can have them all over the world if you want, and hopefully get a subscriber list going. And they're not for profit, so if they're not given away free, then they're priced just to cover your printing and shipping costs. So they're usually maybe a couple of dollars. I think what's really cool about zines is that it's this tangible thing, you know, that you can hold in your hands, and it's just made by an individual or sometimes a couple of people. So it's just very, you know, it's crafty and it's raw and it's individual and unique, and there's no advertising, so you know, the person is speaking from their heart and saying whatever it is they want, and you know, it's something you can keep and then years later go back and read again, or pass on to friends or to your children even. And it's just really like meeting somebody almost and getting to know them.
Just
But
through their
it's all through
words.
paper, yeah.
Wow.
And plus, it's just so easy to do. It's just so easy to do. I think
Just-
zines are the original DIY because I really don't know exactly when they started, but I think it was the late 70s,
Sure.
mid 70s. And, you know, nowadays we've got the internet. You can make a video and post it on YouTube.
Sure.
There's so many ways to get whatever it is you want to do out there. But when you're talking 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that was not available.
Yeah.
So the only thing you really could do was make a zine.
Sure.
And if you go to a larger city, you will find in some of the independent bookstores, they will carry like a rack of zines. You
Really?
know? So you can have access to them. But I mean, it's all from whatever you like, and then you make it, you put it together, and then you publish it yourself by Xeroxing it, and then you distribute it, you know, so it's just, you've done it all yourself. It's the ultimate.
I understand. I understand. 'Cause you're so kind. And girls like you.
Alright, so this is how you would make a zine. Basically what you want to do is just go get a big old thing of copier paper. And that way you can put it in your printer, if you have one, and print out any images you want. I liked to have a folder with all kinds of different categories in it that I could put for my different sections I like to do for my zine. And I would collect my images so that when it came time to make the zine, I had them at the ready. So I would get my paper and fold it very nicely. And then I'd paste on my images. So this is one I just made. And we did the front. And then the next page, this black right here, all this blackness is going to bleed through this thin white copier paper. So when I go to the next page,
How so? Is in the glue or the?
oh yeah, that's very important. Rubber cement is your best friend.
Okay.
If you use Elmer's glue or any other glue, it's going to bleed through it. It's going to wrinkle. It won't dry right. It's just hell.
Sure.
So you do rubber cement. And the trick with rubber cement, in case you don't know, scrape it off. You want a nice thin layer. And then the other thing, you have to also do a layer on that. So you keep it thin, and then you gotta let it dry for a little bit. You can speed it up by blowing on it or moving
Sure.
it. And when you're ready, the two glue sides are going to meet.
Okay.
And you will have a completely smooth, perfect glued thing. So that's what I did with all these images.
Okay.
But first, because all this dark ink will bleed through this thin paper,
So now that's why you fold it over?
Mhm.
Okay.
I take some paper, black, purple, brown, whatever, cut it down a little bit, and then I would paste that down. So I would use my rubber cement, I would be like whoosh, whoosh, over the white paper, and then whoosh, whoosh, over the dark paper. Wait a minute, put it down, smooth it all out. And now I've got a good surface to do something
A base.
that I want,
Yeah.
yes. So then I would take my image of Nina Simone, and I like to cut it nice and straight. But obviously you can do whatever you want. You want to rip
Get those
it.
crazy scissors.
I use just regular
Zigzags.
scissors. Any old scissors you want, as long as they're sharp. I have scissors I keep for fabric and scissors I keep for paper so that the paper one doesn't get dull. Okay. So let's pretend I've glued down that. Now I'm going to glue down Nina. So I take my rubber cement, scrape it off. Where should we put her? How about right there? Okay. Well, put a little bit here. You don't have to cover the whole thing because you're going to make copies of this. This is just your original.
So it'd be kind of flaky.
Yeah, you don't have to be precise because it doesn't matter. And then that trick with rubber cement, you gotta let it dry just a little bit.
What happens if you don't? Just kind of
It
slides
just
around?
doesn't lose. Yeah, it slides around, doesn't dry right.
Sure.
And then I would put her down. Now, if I had a white marker or paint or something, I could write Nina Simone in white here.
Sure.
But I don't, so I am going to cut out a piece of white paper. Too long. And then I'm going to glue that down so that I can use a black marker and write her name. A little strip, a little strip. And you see, you don't have to cover everything. It's just, you want to get it glued down so you can put it in the copy machine. Then, God bless Sharpies. They're the best. I'm going to turn this around so I can do it. And I'm going to write whatever I want. So, remember, this has been glued down, and now I'm done. And I can embellish it, you know, do whatever I want. I can give as detailed as I want. And I'm done with that page. And my next page, it's already white. I put Lee Miller on here. I had 2 images I just printed out from the computer. Just go to Google Images, put in the name of whatever you want, print them out, cut them out, paste them down. And then once again, I needed to put dark paper down. And then I put Justine Frischman of Elastica and Ariel Schrag, who's a cartoonist. And voila, you already have several, you have 2 pages, see?
Sweet.
So easy. And here I'll show you, here's a much more detailed one. This is my first issue of Parasol. So this is the original, it's very thick. There's many pages glued on top of each other so that nothing bleeds through. And I numbered them so I can keep track because it gets really confusing when you go to Xerox them. So you have all of these, and basically what you do is you go to your print shop and you would put this in the machine, close the thing, push 2-sided, and it would go scan, switch, and you would turn it around, close the machine again, scan, and then it'd be ready, and you'd hit print, and it would come out, and it would be and you would have your 2-sided paper. So once I've done that to all my pages here of my original, and I've printed out all the copies, and you just kind of got to keep track of what order they go in, you want to staple it. And to staple it, you're going to need a big stapler because you have to get in the middle of the page. So this is a really nice guy. I don't know where I got him. Probably Office Depot. You can find him anywhere. You fold your paper. Okay, here I go. And then you're going to staple it. And just stick it in. See, this thing goes so far, you can staple anything. And find the seam, line it up, do the next one. You got it, Zane.
Sweet.
Spent too many nights at home, spent too many days at school. I'm tired of the afterthoughts, tired of the waiting pools. I saw you in the national press, I saw you on the national news. I've seen you in the national park, I've seen you in the national zoo. And one more time I get worried, two more times you were out. I saw you at a loss for words, you saw me in the same way too. A sandwich in the B&H, a record in the Rainbow Room. I saw you from across the hall, you saw me on the garage roof, across on the forest floor, a space in the rented room. One more time I'm not worried, two more times you were out. One more time I get worried about working things out. But if you got life, life to live, and if you got love, love to give, and if you got life, life to live, and if you got love, love to give. I don't need a pocket watch, I don't need a tablespoon, I don't need a meter stick, I never need a red balloon.
Alright, so right now we're going to make some buttons, and it's pretty easy. It's actually really easy. After you have your button maker, like I said, pretty much everything comes with the button maker. The bands, the backs, and the front pieces of the shells. All you really need is to print out your image, or your images onto a piece of paper. I'm doing some for my band right now. But like I said, it's really easy, and go on your computer and just make a sheet of these to save paper and to save you money. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your shells, one of the front pieces of your shells, and you're going to trace it on top of your design so you know how big to make your button. It's just like this. It's got the open back piece, and you just lay it down on top of that, center it best as you can see, and just trace it. Then usually you just do that for your entire sheet. Just going to do one real quick one right now. So the next step, you just cut out that line you just traced. Once you have it cut out, then you can start working with your button maker. Like I said, everything comes with it. There are a lot of loose pieces, so I bought a Tupperware container with a lid for real cheap. These are the rest of your buttons. Don't need those yet. This is called the compactor, or whatever. It presses your buttons together once you have it all assembled. These are the pieces. This blue piece is kind of houses the whole thing. So your first step is you're going to take the blue piece. It's got a little system of grooves in here, and you take your shell and you put it in there. You make sure it's in there really good. Next, you're going to take your design. There's a little notch on here, and you just line up the bottom of your design and center it with that notch. Then you're going to take your the plastic pieces that go on top. I found a little box and I just put them all in there so I don't lose them. But just take one of those. It's really important when you're doing this to make sure that you only have one, because sometimes you'll get two and that'll waste these and it can ruin your button. Just lay that on top of there really nicely and make sure your thing is still centered on top of the button. Then your gold piece, this is real important. It's got a rubber piece right on here, and that needs to be on the bottom when you push it in. So just center that on there. Push it in really tight. And then you can still center your button somewhat when you're doing that. Then flip it over, and you're going to take your silver piece and your green piece. Your silver piece is going to go in there with the little ledge sticking up. And just lay it on there like that. And it needs to be on a flat surface, because you push with your palm really hard until you hear it pop. And that's just pushing your button back through the thing. And you can take out your silver and green piece, set them off to the side, and then you grab your red piece. And it's got a little indent, and you're going to push that piece on the down so that the flat piece is on top. Just take your 2 thumbs, push it on really tight, and make sure that when you're pushing it in, that it's really level and that you get it in there good. Because this is one of the crucial steps to making sure your button turns out good. Once it's in there pretty good, you can kind of look at it and see if it's level. That's good. Then you're going to flip it back over, and you're going to take the other side of your pin, which is the actual pin piece that sticks to your shirt, and you're going to take that, and you're going to hold on to that with the pin. Hold on to it with that pin right there. And then there are 2 notches on the back here. According to where your button is, to how you want it, you just need to line up that with those 2 pins. Put that back there. And just line it up there so it's really nice. Take your green piece again. Just going to put that on top. You don't really need to push on it because this thing will do all the work. Then you just lay it with the green piece down, and there's a little circle on there for this black piece to go in, and so when you push it down, it'll push it all together. Just push that on there, make sure it's in there good, and just 2 hands really tight. I turn it to make sure it gets pressed in there evenly, and once that's done, just take it apart. Button should pretty much just fall out. That's how you make a button. Another important thing though, is when you're done making your buttons, that you take everything apart. You don't want to leave any of it together. That can just damage your thing over time, and moisture collects in there, and it's just taking care of it. But that's it.
Your trust.
Okay, I'm going to show you how to make easy, reliable, sturdy guitar picks just out of old CDs. So all you need is a guitar pick, an old CD, scissors, a marker that's going to show up on your CD, and some sandpaper. So just take your guitar pick, lay it on top of your CD, and then take your marker, and you're going to push down on the guitar pick and just trace it. You can change the style of the pick by making it more pointy, if you want. When you're done with that, just cut it out. Pieces of it might break off, and it's going to be a little bit hard to cut, but and it's going to make a big mess. There's a whole bunch of little bits of plastic and stuff that come off when you're cutting it. Once you got the basic shape of it, you're going to notice it's really rough, and that's why you need your sandpaper. Just sand off the edges
and make it look good. And if you want to, you can go ahead and scrape off the plastic on there and just make a clear guitar pick. Although they are pretty hard to find when you drop them during practice. And that's how you do it. Alright, so we're going to make t-shirts now, and what you're going to need for it, what I'm using, is a screen printer, which you can buy at an art store. They're not that expensive, and a squeegee. But I'm doing the stencil method, so I'm going to take this piece of paper, and I'm going to cut that stuff out to make a stencil. And then I'm going to put that on top of my t-shirt, which I have under here. It has a piece of cardboard in between it, so that it won't bleed through to the back. You should do that as well. But I'm going to cut that out and I'm going to make it into a stencil. I'm going to put that on top of this, and then I'm going to put my screen on top of that. And I'm going to take my squeegee and I'm just going to pull that across, and that's going to push all the paint through the screen, through the stencil, onto the shirt. So right now I'm going to use an X-Acto knife, which you can also just pick up in any art store, to stencil it out. Alright, so next you're going to take your fabric paint and push down on that. You're going to take your fabric paint, you're just going to want to spoon it on right here. There's I got that piece where there's tape on it, and you just want to spoon on just like a line of it. It'll go all the way across, and you don't really need too much, but just flatten it out kind of. Don't put it too close to the edge, because you're going to need to pull your squeegee across it. Time is kind of a factor when you're doing this. You want to act quick, but try not to make a mess. Now, the first stroke you're going to do, you're not going to press very hard. You just kind of pull it across to get the paint on there. Then when you get to the other end, you're going to want to go up here and just push it up against the edge over here, so you can scoop up all that the excess. And you come back over here, and this one you're gonna push down real hard and pull it across. You got it? Mm-hmm. There you go. Push. They said really hard, and then come back, collect the excess, do it again. A few times is good enough. Then you're going to carefully peel off your screen, and there you have it, a nice t-shirt. Want to let this dry overnight, and then it's a good idea to take some wax paper and just lay it down once it's dry, and set that in with an iron. Just go over it a few times, and that'll work out well. And that's how you do it.
Deal with them is gone, just like the old days. here? Where we gonna go from here? Where we gonna go? I always found music